On the come up, better sit low. The product base, better drip though. Pocket fat when the chips low. AlexOCrypto, fit the party like a disco. Band bass like my wallet, yo. Stay true to the digital. AlexOCrypto. 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 What you know about juice? Making the moves. Data flow casual, breaking the news. Revenue proof. A building portfolios taking well over exceptional gain. I'm trapping this game. So participation ain't a hard knock. I put in the work so you got knowledge. You ain't drawing with luck when you following us. The result is a pan full of fat pockets. Bada bang, that's an otter gang with an auto flame. With a lot of hate. Get about the lane, ain't about the trade. Have another trade, get another play. They playing God so pretentious. Grapes in these waters forbidden. Well indeed, that's a felony. Don't look at me for the TRB. Have you heard of TRB? I don't know. On the come up, better sit low. The product base, better drip though. Pocket fat when the chips low. AlexOCrypto, fit the party like a disco. Band bass like my wallet, yo. Stay true to the digital. AlexOCrypto, on the come up, better sit low. The product base, better drip though. Pocket fat when the chips low. AlexOCrypto, fit the party like a disco. Band bass like my wallet, yo. Stay true to the digital. AlexOCrypto. 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 AlexOCrypto.
Good afternoon, FOMC gang. What is going on, everybody? Back at it. We don't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Non-stop. Some janky-ass price action. Janky. You guys trading this? I don't know how you're trading this, but here we are. Here we are. I got tea now. We're in afternoon tea now, mate. This price action is absolutely grim. Oh my God. What the heck is this, man? What did I walk into? What did I walk into? How you guys all doing? How did the coffee trade go? It was non-existent, man. Non-existent. Well, we've swept the highs now, guys. This suggests down. We have swept the highs. I am short. Let's see. Oh, and Bitunix did refund me on that trade this morning, everybody. Good thing. Because I was a little bit pissy. TP1 hit. TP1 hit from me bunghole. Now I've reduced my trading account to $10,000 over here because I know it's FOMC. I don't know about you guys, but I ain't going to get liquidated today. I don't know about you guys, but I ain't getting liquidated today. Oh man, up $260 already. Jeez, you don't you be coming back for me now. I just shorted it. Took profit already. Like I'm pretty quick with it. You guys better be fast. It's FOMC day, baby. You got those revolvers, you know, those Chair Powell revolvers ready to go, baby. You better be ready to go. This expectation order flow is down. We've swept the highs. Dump it. Dump it. Dump it. That was a quick little scalp here. We'll see if we do want to continue down. I'll take off some more, man. I'm not going to be greedy today. No need to be greedy. I don't know about you guys, but we can't be greedy today. Oh. Come down here then. Here's greed. See, greed will get you. Oh, we're going to come down to these lows. There we go. Come on. A little bit more. A little bit more, please. Please, sir. Please, sir. Really? You're going to make me bring my order up a bit? I'm not going to talk like that for the rest of the stream, guys. This is... All right, take it off. Come on. Jerome Powell's watching the stream already. He's in the background there with his missus. Oh, come on. Come on, baby. What you doing? Hello? Earth to liquidity. Oh, my God. Lord have mercy. See what happens when you're greedy? Right there. There's greedy. Damn, that's shit, isn't it? Up we go for Bitcoin. Maybe I go back over to Bitcoin, stop trading Solana. Solana's a beast, man. Solana's a beast. Jankyville. Is that a town? Is that a town? GG's in the chat. GG's in the chat. What's going on, everybody? Good morning. +1 Bitunix. Yeah, absolutely. Bitunix redeemed me for that $900 loss this morning. Gave me my moolah that I deserved. My moolah that I deserved back. So very happy about that. See, customer service. This is the only reason why I recommend the exchange. That's the only reason. Video evidence. It didn't take the trade. It should have been a $400 profit. Man. Are you guys excited for FOMC today, guys? I'm not. I really hate days like this. They're like overwork, underappreciated. FOMC, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Eastern Standard. We'll see what we get here, guys. I don't expect much besides a bit of jankiness. Okay. We'll do some top-down analysis. Good to see everybody in here. Okay. These days are the most exciting. Yeah, absolutely. So exciting. So much fun. Look at this price action, man. Like, total. Like, I mean, we had the sell wall this morning. Okay, our bad this morning for missing the short. Okay, we knew bearish divergence. We should have been short here this morning, but we weren't. We weren't. Yeah, we should have been short here. That was my bad. That was my bad. And obviously the rug. So, that's fine. Live and learn. Okay, we should have been short. VWAP slap, VWAP slap. We had 2 good VWAP slaps this morning as well. 1, 2 on Solana. You guys were here for it. You guys saw it. So no excuses. Should have been short this morning. We didn't. That's my bad. Okay. NASDAQ dying today. There's your tell. S&P gap up. Okay, there's your tell. The gap up suggests that we come back and fill the gap. So we should have been short this morning. That was my bad. I'm sorry. Okay. We did make some money this morning. It was a good little scalping session, but we should have been just short. It should have been just an easy short. Now what do we have? Well, when we look at Bitcoin here, you have a clear swing failure pattern. Rotation back down. Higher highs, higher lows. Building up into here. Trying to push. Trying to push. Can we continue? Right? Can we continue? I don't know. I don't know. It's really trying to defend these highs in here. This is a very critical kind of support level here. Critical support. I would like to see more follow through here on the Bitcoin price action, but we shall see. We shall see. FOMC is always an interesting feller. Always an interesting one. So Solana looks like it needs to push. It needs to flip this level of support, right? I need to see Solana get above here and rotate. Sit on this and rotate, right? I'm going to scalp this thing all day though today. Long on Solana. Okay, let's go. See if we can push up to these highs here. No, not yet. Not yet. Still waiting here. So you typically want to time with Bitcoin here. With Bitcoin, I mean, this is quite the SFP. My God, I updated the Discord with the level, and then the level got swept. Pretty wild. Orb is doing its thing here. A little bit hard to interpret Orb today, really. But reclaiming, a failed Orb breakdown is typically bearish. There was a couple of Orb trades here. Not as good as it has been. All right? Not as good as it has been. How's everybody else doing today? Are you guys trading a lot or what? Not trading FOMC, but woke up to watch you trade. This is gold. Nah, I appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. So we're looking for impulsive moves on Bitcoin to kind of lead us to water kind of deal, right? Look at that Solana short was playing out here. All right, imbalance down here. VWAP slap on Solana. That's really nice. Thank you for being here, your bro. Marion. You can try to take trades pre-demo account. Yeah. Chirper. We're going to go to the Federal Reserve, the live stream here, guys. 2:30 Eastern Standard Time, which is 12:30, which is in an hour, guys. We have an hour. We don't expect any cuts today. Okay. We don't expect any cuts. If it's going to load the chart. No loading. There we go. No cuts. 0.6. Okay, no cuts. No cuts. No cuts. And then we got the live stream here. Bitcoin pushing, considering a long Solana. Can Bitcoin push back? Or no? Solana might need to come a little bit lower here. A little bit lower. If Bitcoin can push back, though. Nope, see? No pushback yet. Higher highs, higher lows, trying to continue. Down. Continue down. Let me see market monkey. The monkey. Got to get the monkey underneath the desk. That thing that takes all the trades for me, That one. Okay. VWAP. Trying to hold VWAP. Solana. Ugly. Rotation down. No bullish absorption. Suggestive to go down. Lower. Bull div in here. Possible pushback if Bitcoin pushes here. However, sweep of the high, guys. It's the warning sign. There's a warning sign. If Bitcoin can push here, we can consider a long on Solana. Fair value gap, pushback. Trying to push back. Can buyers step up here? Bitcoin's got to get going here if Solana's going to push back. Cheeky price action, guys. NASDAQ trying to bottom here, which is good, which is bullish generally. But Jerome Powell, he just opens his mouth and crazy things happen. So Be aware. Be aware. We've been streaming all morning, teaching, streaming, hanging out. Good fun. Hopefully everybody's having a beautiful day. Today's definitely a day where you guys want to be patient and take less trades. That is not always easy because everything looks juicy until it isn't. Until it's your account on the floor and you crying. So be aware. Rotation down for Bitcoin means rotation down for Solana. Unless bounce. Nice little trigger wave here on the 1 minute, 3 minute, trying to push back a little bit, trying to push back into this. I would like to see us come back up to the top of the orb here on Bitcoin, but I think that's wishful thinking. Once we sweep the highs like this, it's typically rotation all the way back down. All the way back down into here. Typically. So, put a 1 in the chat if you're long. Put a 2 in the chat if you are short. And put a 3 in the chat if you're skiing. Skiing is important too during FOMC. There's lots of skiing where I live. Okay, a little pushback here for Biddy. Considering along. I like rotation up to the orb. Yeah, this would look like this. Long here. Be very cheap. Very cheap trade up to the highs here. I don't know. Are we splitting hairs? I think we're splitting hairs. You guys tell me, what do you guys think? You guys long? Are you short? Are you guys into anything? 1, 2, buckle me shoe. 3, 4, shutting the door. Three hands. 1 long. Hey Alex, I've been using Market Cipher for a while, but found your channel and use a VWAP, standard deviations plus ICT cops. It's a really good combo. Thank you, man. Yeah, order blocks, Fibonacci, VWAP. I mean, we're trying here to hold VWAP. We're trying. You're saying there's a chance, right? You're saying there's a chance. I'm saying there's a chance for this to push. Let's try. A little bit risky, man. A little bit risky. FOMC trading to appeal to the masses here. I don't know. We might have to take an L, which is fine. Let's go. See if we can push up halfway up this candle. Bitcoin's struggling a little bit here. Stop loss below the low, risking 800. We'll be quick to exit this thing if it doesn't follow through here. I like this engulfing candle. Halfway down the candle continuation here. Can we get it? I'm going to be quick with this guy if it wants to push here. Come on, don't be a dick. Oh my God, really? Really? Come on. That was some bullshit right there. Come on. Push. Bitcoin's got to push here too. What's Bitcoin doing? Nah, it looks shit. No. We're going to get stopped out. I like this candle. Halfway down the candle, push. Now you push. I might take this off here. Bitcoin looks weak. I mean, I would have liked that to be break even. Stopped out. $300. On to the next one. That was really lame. But Bitcoin's not showing any strength here. Rotation down. Okay. That's a good loss, though. I don't mind taking that L. Good risk management. Good risk management. That's a better sweep there. What up, Tradefly, my man? How you doing, bro? I figured out the affiliate link and everything. I gotta hook you up, man. We gotta talk business soon. Business. Business. The bee's knees. Coming into FOMC here with the jankiest price action known to man. I like the look of the NASDAQ right now. 12-minute Solana looks like crap. Anchor trigger, bullish divergence, trying to push out here. Money flow down. Yeah. Not the best 12-minute candle here. Not the best, no. Bitcoin not holding. All right. So this is coming lower. Bitcoin's losing VWAP. Aggressive move through VWAP is typically bearish, right? Trying to hold orb here. Not too long till our reading here. So 2 o'clock. Yeah, 2 o'clock here. Bitcoin's kind of leading the way lately, so I think we might just switch over to Bitcoin and trade Bitcoin now. Looking for a rollover on Bitcoin, possibly. We'll see if we set that up there. Solana, yeah, it looks weak too. I'd like to see Bitcoin come for the low first here. Like sweep the low at least, minimum. Jerome Powell is going to wreck everyone anyways, right? Yo, Alex, do you only short Sol and Bitcoin? Yeah, I only trade those two mostly. I'll swing trade like alts, right? I'll swing trade alts, but not, I don't really touch them for scalping, man. There's not enough liquidity for the position size that I trade. Not me, bro. Again, where should we enter? Nowhere right now. Waiting. Just, can I get a VIP with Bitunix? You can get it if you just make a new account. You make a new email, man. Make a new email. Still short. Skis are on. Yeah, skis are on, man. We're in Skiville right now. Jerome Powell here. Slow motion. Just bleeding out a little bit here after that sweep into here, grabbing that liquidity. Bitcoin slow motion here, but the SFP is what makes me a bit bearish right now, so. I'd like to see it come for the lows, minimum. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very slow right now, guys, so patience. Patience, patience, patience. Bitcoin's bleeding out. Bitcoin's bleeding out, losing VWAP right now. So we're looking for a sweep of the low here. We're looking for a sweep of the lows here. Preferably both. Okay. Looking for this low to hold and orb to hold here. So that's our bullish sentiment if it's going to be so. But yeah, very violent price action today. So our job is to be patient. One trade today up $250. On to the next one. Okay. On to the next one. Bitcoin needs to reclaim VWAP here. Just retested it. Can it reclaim it? Reclaims VWAP. That's bullish. We can get long, but right now we just wait. Nice rounding here on Solana. Anchor trigger on Solana as well. 15 minutes till rate pause. We'll call it a rate pause. Bleeding out. Bleeding out. Oh, trying to push here. Trying to push. Okay. I see you. Considering a long on Solana. Solana's in a better spot, in my opinion, chopping at the bottom. And we'll see. Can we get going here? Little pushback. All right. TP not hit. Wow, this is not, the liquidity is not working for me today. My God. Why is the liquidity so bad for me today? It does not like my trades. It's just hanging out here, guys. It's faked me out twice. It will not take my order. It will not take my order. Twice. Look at this shit. This is what pisses me off, man. Twice. It came up here, just stopped. Came up here, just stopped. That's bullshit, man. That's such bullshit. That pisses me off. Push, you piece of beep. I'm going to get tilted before the meeting is even starting. Ooh-sa. Oh! Bastard. It's going to stop me out now. I was up 250 here. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I don't get it. I'm going to get stopped out here, break even, man. This is not looking good here. On to the next one, break even trade. I'm glad it's break even at least. It shouldn't be break even, but it is. Yeah, I'm going to get out. I'm trading Bitcoin only for FOMC. Fuck Solana. I'm closing Solana. I'm only trading Bitcoin now. 2 break-even trades, 1 loss, 1 win. Wild. How's everybody doing? We got 280 people in here, hanging out, taking trades, showing the trades, all that good fun. Good fun, man. Thank you for being here. Soul's trying to push. Yeah, I'm sure it is now. Yeah, there it is. Right? There it is. Of course it is. Enough to drive you mad, right? Enough to drive you mad. SPY looks weak. Bitcoin looks weak. Thank you, everybody, for being here and hanging out. Bitcoin failing to push just right now. Below VWAP. A little bit weakness. Big scam wick, man. Big scam wick. I feel like I was right on the Solana long here, but I feel like this can go up to here. Like this would have been the idea. Let me just put it on to be resentful here. Just to be mad at the trade that I'm not in anymore. We didn't do a poll here. Okay, so start poll. FOMC day. Pump, dump, pump and dump. Skiing. You guys tell me. What's up, One Way? Good to see you, man. Only 80 likes, I know. Only 80 likes. Soul's trying to push. Yeah. So we got momentum wave pushing up here, VWAP crossover, lower part of the range, just looking for a pushback minimum into like this fair value gap. That's what I think someone asked what I was looking for. So you got momentum down here. You got fair value gap right here. So I'm just trying to see if price will push into here before possibly continuing down, or if it runs, right? So that was the scalp doji engulfing trade here, trying to push out, right? Looking for Bitcoin to reclaim VWAP. No reclaim here, just bleeding out slowly. Now we wait. Thank you guys for liking the stream, hanging out here. I got a big headache. Too much screen time already today. That's for damn sure. And there's that rotation into that fair value gap, right? You can see just a little bit of bids coming into here, right into this area as a target, right? That's the momentum that I was looking for. And obviously it's worked out pretty decent. I would have been take profit, right? Stop loss to entry here, and up you go, right? That was the trade I was looking for. It worked out. I just got shooken out a little bit there. Haven't taken the low here yet on Biddy. I feel like FOMC need like some carnival music or something like really funky. You know, where's Brewberry when we need him? Fair value got filled. Short on Solana. Quick scalp. Half a position size, looking for rotation down. Break even now. Take profit one hit. Rotation down. See if Solana wants to roll over here. Fair value gap hit. Rotation down. Nope. Stopped out. Break even trade again. I'm looking for runners here, guys, if you're wondering what I'm doing. I'm looking for runners on Solana, but there it goes, man. Taking the low now on Bitcoin. Sweep of the lows, Bitcoin. Bitcoin bleeding out here, coming into FOMC. We got 7 minutes, guys. Big sweep here on Biddy. Can it pop back up? Can it pop back up here? Solana sweep. It's long Solana. Long. Push. Stop loss break even. Close back within the range. Front ran. Are we going to do this again? There we go. $150. TP taken. Looking for a rotation now. Leaving a runner. Nice little sweep on Bitcoin. Quick little scalp. Solana's coming back already, man. You dirty girl. You dirty girl, Solana. 160 bucks. You dirty girl. Jeez, you're a dirty girl. That is nasty. Welcome to FOMC, guys. Welcome to FOMC. There is no holding trades. This is why you got to pay yourself quickly. There is no. Wild. All right. So, oh man. I thought you were stopping Sol. I was. But it looked good. I mean, SFP continuation trade. Break even, break even, break even. 150. $300 loss, $200 win, $200 win. I don't know. You guys do the math. It's all right. Wild. All right, we got 4 minutes here, guys. Thank you, everybody, for being here, smacking up the like button, subscribing if you're new. We're normally here live in the morning, 8 a.m. till 10:15 Eastern Standard Time, trading market open, showing you guys the trades, taking the trades, hanging out, having fun. We have the best Discord in all of crypto with 8 amazing traders. I don't know what else to tell you. We got a wicked deal on Bitunix if you want to sign up and get VIP 3, 30% off your fees for 6 months. It's an exclusive AlexOCrypto deal. That's the best sales pitch I think I've ever done. I don't really care for you guys to, you guys can do what you want. Okay? You guys can do what you want. But all I know is Bitunix has been good and it has been very reputable. So how big is your first TP limit? 75% when I'm scalping, my friend. Bids coming in here for Bitcoin. Solana bullish CVD. Solana trying to push. I'm going to take a breather right now, guys, okay? No more clicking buttons for a bit. Okay? No more clicking buttons. Probably whenever I stop clicking buttons, you probably should click buttons. That's a good long here. Yeah, Biddy's flying. Yep. Doji engulfing Bitcoin. See? I should have clicked the button again. The SFP, man, that's the sweep. That's the liquidity sweep. Shows you that direction it wants to go. Closing back within the range, continuation up. Right? Right. We all know this. If not, I'll teach you. Come and hang out. Pretty sweet. I missed it, guys. I missed the trade. Solana's flying now. Imagine it's like 75 basis point cut. Imagine it just absolutely. I would laugh so hard, man. Imagine just poof. We're going to Valhalla. 40. 20 seconds. I'm going to stop. Yeah, exactly, Joshy. I'm going to stop clicking buttons. And we wait. What's up, Dan? Good to see you. Hopefully you're doing well. Today is special. Yeah, it's something. Here's your little chop before you pop. Interest rate decision is going to be flat. There it is. Flat AF. There's your decision. NASDAQ flat. SPY flat. No real volatility. It's all about what the Mr. Pow Pow says. Coming in as expected, guys. No cut. Pretty boring. Should have been long. Yep. Should have been long. We missed it, guys. Put a 1 in the chat if you're long. Congratulations. Fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. Isn't that effing bullshit, guys? We were right there. We were right there, guys. We were right there. Good job, guys. Where should you take profit? Wherever you decided to target before you entered the trade. Is that a douche canoe answer? I think so. Bitcoin's rugging, you guys. That's where you should have taken profit. Right at the tip right there. Right at the tip. Buy Bitcoin. Down it goes. Retest of orb, dumping down. Holy smokes, Batman. Solana down? Bitcoin down. That's for damn sure. Solana's unfazed. Bitcoin bouncing. Retested the lows for Bitcoin. NASDAQ dump. SPY dump and pump. Jerome Powell going to come in and rug the market. Bitcoin rolling over. Bitcoin bounce. Bitcoin bounce. NASDAQ bounce? Yep. Bitcoin bounce? Yep. We long Solana. Stop loss to entry. Oh, man. That flew. Okay. 600 realized. Market it out. 75%. Let it run. Sniper. I think I'm going to have to give him the lesson on the first move is the tell, right? Sniper, should I give them the FOMC lesson that I told them all to watch today in the Discord? Okay. I gave you. Okay. News data. All right. I told them this morning to watch it. It's called Trading News. It's in the Discord. I told them to watch it. You got to pay yourself fast though. We don't care anymore, right? We just let it run wherever it wants to go. All right, here it is in the Discord. You have to do some digging here. Look at this handsome guy. We're going to talk about FOMC and just strategy. Okay, so what you're going to have is your look left confluence. So you're going to have liquidity high in our case, and it has come down and it's flagged out into the point of control. Basically any news events, and this is why I have found success in trading these. Now, number one, quarter position size, meaning I'm putting $50,000 to $100,000 per trade. I'm typically putting $500,000 per trade. Quarter effing position size. Okay? Please, you will get wrecked. Like I said, I wish I never traded these for my first 2 years and just watched them. Okay? Please. Please. Beautiful bottoming structure on Solana right now, by the way. Taking trades while teaching. So, what happens? The data comes out. Boom. The data comes out. You get this move, and it's always three moves. It's either like this or it's like this. Okay, what happens? Our job is to interpret and wait for the first move. Identifying the first move is critical. This is the actual move. Okay, this is direction. It gives you a hint in direction. This is the hardest part because it can do it twice where this does this again. Okay? But identifying the actual move is your number one job, which is hard to do because you can get it wrong and you can get wrecked. That's why we don't trade with big position size here. Okay? You get it wrong, you get wrecked. Understand that. Okay? But if you can identify the first move on any news data, on jobs reports, on inflation data, on PPI data. If you can identify the first move, you got to let it trap retail. That's the first move is going to trap retail. Then you let retail get absolutely demolished. Okay? So, haha, retail. Okay. Haha, retail. Then we wait for it to hit a key level. I'm long again. Sometimes it's a VWAP. Sometimes it's a order block. Sometimes it's up 150 level. Haha, retail. Then we jump on the actual move. This is where we take the trade on confirmation of the actual move. Okay, and it can happen in the opposite direction too. It can come in. Okay, what's the juiced, guys? What's the juiced here? So how do I explain that? And how did I get in? Why did I get long here? Okay, and why did I take profit so quickly and yada, yada, yada? Right, it's all fine and dandy. But what was the actual move? What happened first? We moved up, right? What happened second? We squeezed everybody. What happened third is that we continued up. Okay, so if you can recognize the first move, which I did, you can recognize the squeeze, which we did, you can take advantage of the next move. Okay, when we look at Bitcoin here, okay, what happened is we moved up, we moved down, and then we moved up. Okay, so the first move on our beautiful news was up. We can all agree. Maybe 30-second time frame. Our next move was the squeeze. Here's our squeeze. This one is the actual move. Which way are we going now? Up. Okay? Risky. But if you can identify it, you can make money. Okay? You guys all think I'm crazy, but I mean, I just hit $150, $700. I just made $800 pretty quick. So, that's that. Anyways, happy days. We'll see where we go now. Back to the news. Back to the chat. All right. Okay. So I try to teach you all my secrets in the Discord. It's not easy. Like if you're new to the Discord and you haven't been through all the videos and all the ideas and how I trade and stuff like that, you're gonna struggle a little bit, but that's okay. That's why you're in the Discord, to learn. Right. And it's risky, right? Quarter position size, understand you're gonna get wrecked if you don't trade it properly, and you're gonna be wrong sometimes, and that's okay. Now we got Jerome Powell to come here and liquidate everyone. Good fun. Good fun. Thank you for being here, everybody. Hopefully you're all having a beautiful day. And now we're chopping. So no trades now, right? Now we wait for this guy to open up his big mouth and do something with the markets, right? Explain Solana. Well, Solana pumped and dumped, right? So here's the news event. Up we went, right? Up we went. Boop, 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 boop. Everybody's longing, right? Then they all get liquidated. Boop, 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 boop. We wait. We long here. When it stops, we make money here. That's your 1, 2, 3, right? We long here. Once we recognize that the move is up, we don't long it on the way up, though. That's where everybody gets it wrong. They all try to top blast, right? And you pay the price when you do that really quickly too. Really quickly. And look at it go now. You could have held this long. Not something I would suggest, but it's working. It's working. NASDAQ, same deal. Go over to the NASDAQ. NASDAQ pushed up, pushed down, right? You can see it. It pushed up, it pushed down, and now it's continuing up. Pushed up, pushed down. Let's go on the NASDAQ. Let's look at 2 o'clock, right? You got to make sure you're looking at the right time. Here's the news, right? So we pushed up, we pushed down, and we continued. Okay? You need to wait for this thing. Okay? It's not perfect, but if you can recognize it, you can make some good money. That's what we're here to do. Up I think I'm up like $1,200. I don't know. I've had 3 break-even trades, 1 $400 loss, 200, 600, 300. So I'm somewhere near. Let's call it an even grand on FOMC. That's a happy day on FOMC. Be the turtle. If you've taken money out of the market today, I mean, it's been an absolute gong show. So congratulations, everybody. Good job. I'm proud of you. And if you haven't, it's okay too. It's tuition. It's learning experiences. That's what you must treat it like, okay? You must treat it like that. If you don't, you're gonna, a lot of the time. That's why I reduced my account size to $10,000, right? I can put 30 grand in my account. I'm not fucking risking that here, right? You go into the FOMC with, okay, I'm willing to lose X amount of dollars, whatever's relevant to you. So what, $1,000, $100, $10, whatever, and go in and have a little bit of fun every now and then. Don't take it yourself too seriously. That's what we're here. We're here to have fun. This is serious business. Trading is not easy. We want We want to outcompete this crazy market, and that's a hard task, guys. It's a hard task. It's taken me years of like obsessive focus. So you can get there too, but it's going to take time. Do you guys want to listen to Jerome Powell music? I could go ballroom dancing to this shit. Can we do a remix? No, they didn't like the remix. They just paused it on me, man. Oh man. Slow it down for Jerome Powell. Crazy. What do we got? We got 14 minutes still, guys. So Bitcoin's still bleeding out here a little bit, guys. So a little bit weak, a little bit of weakness right now. Let's go to the 1 minute because it's very choppy right now. Hammer candle continuation here. Solana. Sweep of the lows for Solana, possibly. Bitcoin follow through up here, up to VWAP again. Pretty volatile. Yeah, it's like it's doing a lot and getting kind of nowhere. That's kind of what price is doing right now. It's like big talk, you know. It's like a hobbit at the bar, right? That's me, the hobbit at the bar talking smack, right? You don't want to hurt him because he's cute and cuddly. Oh man, but you will. You'll teach him a lesson. Show him to watch his mouth. Watch your mouth. Right? Bitcoin really has to reclaim VWAP here. Like Bitcoin needs to reclaim VWAP here. That is its job. But we know Jerome's just going to rug us anyways. He's going to say monetary policy and our job is maximum employment and costs not increasing, low inflation, 2% goal, right? Our 2% goal. Our 2% goal, our maximum GDP. Judging by all the fake numbers, that's what they should just come out and be like, judging by all the fake ass numbers that we've been telling you guys, we're fucked. That's what they should say. Learn so much from your lives. You're a treasure. God bless you, bro. Thank you for the kind words, man. I mean, I just share what I do. That's it. I ain't here to kind of, you know, we're here to make crypto honest again. I shared my 20K loss with you guys at the beginning of the week. Okay, I fucked up, right? I got tilted. I'm human too, right? However, you know, over time, which is our job over time, we are profitable, which is it. Like if you can pay your bills, you put me with a $10,000 trading account and $2,000 rent to pay and food to put on the table. Okay? You put me in that situation and you give me 2 months, I guarantee you I'll pay my bills. I pay my bills. Because I've done it. I have done it, right? Put a 1 in the chat. If your goal is to quit your job, trade here and there, make a living, and pay your bills, and live off trading. Put a 1 in the chat. I think that's everybody's goal here, right? It's my goal, right? So if I can show you what I do, maybe you can too. Maybe you can too, right? I want that for everyone. That's why I'm like, fuck, man. I love when you guys win because it's not easy to win. It's easy to lose. It's easy to click a stupid button. Easy to just sit here and click a stupid button and lose. It's hard to sit here and wait and win because you got to wait if you want to win. You got to wait. I promise you that. If you're taking too many trades, you're going to lose. If you're trading after you've made profits for the day, you're going to lose. Compound, refresh, start fresh. Go out on a win, right? Beautiful candle here for Solana. Not fully engulfing though, so nothing I can trade here. Looks like it wants to push though. This looks strong, guys. Coming into Mr. Pow speaking. Nasdaq's unbothered, really. SPY's bleeding out a little bit still, but very overextended. Biddy's got to reclaim VWAP. That's kind of where that's at. So we wait. Trading is waiting. Halfway up the candle for Solana. Fair value gap tapped. Rotation back down. Okay, so Solana's looking okay, but coming into imbalance here. Naturally looking for that rejection. Right? Enticing buyers on the way up here, coming in, filling up that fair value gap, rotating back down. Right? Very simple. Right? Not taking the liquidity out of the low, right? So our low is still valid here for us to target. This low is still a target. Okay, nice bounce out of here. Right? Enticing buyers on the way up only to dump it on their heads, right? We got high, lower high, downtrend, right? Still waiting here. Bitcoin consolidating sideways. No real directional bias here for Bitcoin. Trigger wave to the downside on the 1 minute. 12-minute trigger wave to the upside if that would be, maybe halfway through his speech here. So this suggests down for now. What's Solana doing? Down, yeah, very nice. But chopping in the middle here. Diddling in the middle, right? We don't want to diddle here, right? Like if we don't want to take trades here. We want to take trades here and here. At minimum. We want to take trades here and we want to take trades here. Okay? Don't want to be stuck, right? It's the worst thing is when you're in a trade and you're not protected, right? You didn't get long down in here. You get long up in here, right? And you're sitting there thinking. It's the worst place to be. Look at that sweep and go. Sweep and go. Solana sweep and go. Look at that beautiful candle pushback. See? So into the imbalance, rotation back down for late longs, continuation up. Beautiful candle, engulfing candle. That's a very strong candle. You could have bought this candle if you wanted to, and your target would be just above this high here. Beautiful. That's a very strong candle here. And that would have hit. Look at that. Pretty much. We wait though. I'm not in a rush to trade now. I'm pretty happy with the profits I've taken out of the market. Pretty happy. Choppy. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you for joining on FOMC Day. We typically go live every morning, trading Bitcoin, helping you guys navigate the charts. We got 300 people in here. Thank you guys for being here. If you guys wouldn't mind smacking up that like button, I'd really appreciate it. It does help the channel. Good times, man. Good times. I think I'm one of the only people who actually like take trades during the FOMC. You know? But does anybody else? Do you guys know? Anybody else take? I think Jason Casper probably takes trades. He's probably pumping. What's he doing? Oh, he's pumping. Oh man, you guys should go over here. I'm gonna stream you streaming the FOMC.
We're getting close, baby. We're getting close.
Love Jason Casper. You guys are all subscribed to Jason Casper, hopefully. What an absolute gift to our industry, man. I love this guy. I gotta do a beatbox so he can rap to it. I can't do the music, and I talk too much to have music going on, you know? I'm an anti-music background kind of guy. The non-copyright, like if I can't bump some Biggie Smalls or some Wu-Tang Clan or some Tool, I don't want to do... You go to this non-copyright garbage, man, and it all sounds like Chinese people playing with xylophones. It sounds like chinky de chong ching chingy, right? You go to whatever, non-copyright sounds. You go to any of this garbage, man, and you just get, you just get crap. It's like Tony Soprano picked up a ukulele, Sniper's Nightmares beating on his, he's got his fishing gear out with it's like a cowbell. You got Alexandra G with the triangle. You got, who else is in here playing instruments? Django. You got Django on his guitar, and you got Dave Digital playing his tennis racket like a guitar. You got any of this. Like, how much speed did this guy take before this shit? This isn't even on 2x. Here's 2x, guys. I can't do it, guys. I can't do it. You guys, there's not enough cocaine and ecstasy in the world for me to listen to shit like that. I don't touch that stuff, by the way. I'm just saying. There's not enough. Hey, leave my ukulele out of it. We like to have a good laugh here, guys. Thank you for being here and supporting the channel, taking the trades, showing the trades, making crypto honest again. Nice little small, slow grind back up to VWAP here. Solana's looking strong as well. Okay, beautiful bullish engulfing candle here. Continuation trade, trying to follow up. Looking good here. Put a 1 in the chat if you're long. Put a 2 in the chat if you're short. I'm currently in no trades. I'll be showing you guys the trades if I take them. That is my job here, to be transparent. It's the only trans we have in here is transparent. We can pop this bitch out. That's what I like about this. We can pop this thing out. Can we expand it too? Oh man, look at the expansion. Look at that VWAP slap. VWAP slap. Yeah, baby. VWAP slap. I'm gonna get a VWAP slap t-shirt. Enticing buyers. Oh, here we go. Look at the timing, guys. I'm impeccable with that timing. All right. Guys, get your banana hammocks out and your diapers. We are dumping. He hasn't even said a word yet. He hasn't even said a word yet.
Afternoon. My colleagues and I remain squarely focused on achieving our dual mandate goals of maximum employment and stable prices for the benefit of the American people.
Sound check.
The U.S. economy expanded at a solid pace last year and is coming into 2026 on a firm footing.
Firm.
While job gains have remained low, the unemployment rate has shown some signs of stabilization, and inflation remains somewhat elevated. In support of our goals, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy rate unchanged. Having lowered our policy rate by 75 basis points over the course of our previous 3 meetings, we see the current stance of monetary policy as appropriate to promote progress toward both our maximum employment and 2% inflation goals. I will have more to say about monetary policy after briefly reviewing economic developments. Available indicators suggest that economic activity has been expanding at a solid pace. Consumer spending has been resilient, and business fixed investment has continued to expand. In contrast, activity in the housing sector has remained weak. The temporary shutdown of the federal government likely weighed on economic activity last quarter, but these effects should be reversed as the reopening boosts growth this quarter. In the labor market, indicators suggest that conditions may be stabilizing after a period of gradual softening. The unemployment rate was 4.4% in December and has changed little in recent months. Job gains have remained low. Total non-farm payrolls declined at an average pace of 22,000 per month over the last 3 months. Excluding government employment, private payrolls rose at an average pace of 29,000 per month. A good part of the slowing in the pace of job growth over the past year reflects a decline in the growth of the labor force due to lower immigration and labor force participation, though labor demand has clearly softened as well. Other indicators, including openings, layoffs, hiring, and nominal wage growth, show little change in recent months. Inflation has eased significantly from its highs in mid-2022, but remains somewhat elevated.
This thing's jumping all over the place.
To our 2% longer-run goal. Estimates based on the Consumer Price Index indicate that total PCE prices rose 2.9% over the 12 months ending in December, and that excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 3.0%. These elevated readings largely reflect inflation in the goods sector, which has been boosted by the effects of tariffs. In contrast, disinflation appears to be continuing in the services sector. Near-term measures of inflation expectations have declined from last year's peaks, as reflected in both market and survey-based measures. Most measures of longer-term expectations remain consistent with our 2% inflation goal. Our monetary policy actions are guided by our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. At today's meeting, the committee decided to maintain the target range for the federal funds rate at 3.5 to 3.75%. Since last September, we have lowered our policy rate 75 basis points, or 0.75 of a percentage point, bringing it within a range of plausible estimates of neutral. This normalization of our policy stance should help stabilize the labor market while allowing inflation to resume its downward trend toward 2%, once the effects of tariff increases have passed through. We are well positioned to determine the extent and timing of additional adjustments to our policy rate based on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. Monetary policy is not on a preset course, and we will make our decisions on a meeting-by-meeting basis. To conclude, the Fed has been assigned 2 goals for monetary policy: maximum employment and stable prices. We remain committed to supporting maximum employment, bringing inflation sustainably to our 2% goal, and keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Our success in delivering on these goals matters to all Americans. We at the Fed will continue to do our jobs with objectivity, integrity, and a deep commitment to serve the American people. Thank you. I look forward to your questions.
I'm long. Closing half.
Hi, Chris Rugaber at Associated Press. Thank you.
Push.
Asked that, you attended the Supreme Court hearing last week on the Lisa Cook case, and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent criticized
Up
that
250.
as political. Can you say why you attended and what you would say in response to the Secretary's criticism?
So let me start with, I don't respond to comments by other officials.
Give me more.
Whatever they may be. It's just not
Give me more.
to do that. I will tell you why I attended. I would say that that case is perhaps the most important
Thank you.
legal case
Up
in
300.
It's 113
Let it
year
run.
history. And as I
Jeez.
thought about it, I thought it would
This
might be
shit's
hard to
stressful,
explain why
man.
I didn't attend. In addition,
Shit's stressful.
Paul
I saw
Volcker went to
Bitcoin
a
ripping and
Supreme Court
Solana was
case
flat.
famously in, I guess, 1985 or so.
Bitcoin was
So
ripping,
it's
Solana was flat. Why not?
precedent, And I thought it was an appropriate thing, and I did it.
Great.
Inappropriate.
And then just quickly follow on
Chair.
The job market.
You need more nipple touching.
You mentioned last month that the household survey might be distorted.
Come on. Push
and
it.
You also mentioned the potential for
Push it.
overcounting jobs.
Do we need to get the ASMR out?
Which would suggest
ASMR,
that
everybody?
You're still in a negative hiring pace.
Look at this
so
guy
do
here.
you see the drop in the unemployment rate as solid?
Mm.
And what's
Who's
the basis
that?
for saying that things have stabilized? Thank you.
So, yeah, really 2 questions. One is, so we're getting through the distortions in the data from the shutdown.
Captain
However
Inferno.
big they were in November, they're smaller in December. So we're getting to a place where they're no longer material. They're still there, but it's a tweak here and there. The reason why we changed
Oh, I didn't
the,
want to touch his
statement-
pecker.
Let me pull it out. Was simply it used to say
Pump
that
it, baby.
judges that downside risks to employment rose in recent months. So we saw
Pump it, baby.
Data coming in which suggests some signs of stabilization. I wouldn't go too far with that, but some signs of stabilization. There are also some signs of continued
It's
cooling.
hard to do it when it's
And,
inverted,
So we
guys.
thought that was no longer an accurate description of the data. In addition, the outlook for economic activity
Pump it, baby.
has clearly improved since the last meeting, and that should matter for labor demand and for
That was for
employment
Django.
over time. So for those 2 reasons, we thought we would take that language out of the statement.
Nick.
I got a question. Why are you so handsome?
Nick Timros, The Wall Street Journal. Chair Powell, you've generally avoided engaging with political controversies directly, and the video statement on January 11th was
You're
a
welcome,
departure.
Django. Look, we're
What
gonna
made
get
this
stopped out.
different,
Not
and are
enough.
you
Not
concerned it
enough
could draw
nipple
the
tickling.
institution further into
$300.
political
Happy
debates?
days.
So today I'm simply going to refer you to the statement that I made on January 11. I'm not going to expand on it or repeat it.
Thank you, everybody, for being here.
So I'm just not going to. This is really about the press conference and
300 people
the
just watched me
economy and
tickle
what we did
Jerome
today,
Powell's
but-
nipples.
and some ancillary areas. But
That's
I'm not going to be
fucked up,
getting into
man.
that.
Can you say whether the Fed has responded to the subpoenas?
I have nothing for you on that today.
Mike.
I have nothing. How do you feel about Orange Man
Michael McKee
firing
from
your
Bloomberg
ass?
Radio TV. Have you made a decision on whether you would remain as a governor of the Federal Reserve? And if so, would you tell us what it is? And if not, when might we anticipate a decision?
No, and I really, once again, have nothing for you on that today. That either.
Why would you want to leave it all under the circumstances?
Again, I don't want to get into this. It's not something I'm. There's a time and place for these questions, but
Today is not the day.
Not something I'm going to be getting into today. Thank you.
Thank you. Claire Jones, Financial Times. Thanks a lot for taking my questions. In another one that might, lead to a
Give it a
similar
try.
answer. We've seen quite big movements in the dollar over recent days. What do you think is driving the US currency lower? And have you been at all concerned just by the extent of the volatility we've seen this week? Thank you.
So, Claire, as you probably know, we don't comment on the dollar. Really, the administration, especially the Treasury Department,
dollar,
has
guys.
the job of oversight over the currency and exchange rates and all that. We don't comment on that.
Flaccid.
It's not our role. So I have nothing for you.
But, I mean, what's your view on the market movements? I mean, what do you think behind them? Is it asset managers diversifying? Is it?
Yeah, I just don't. We don't talk about the dollar. We don't talk about what moves it around. It's just not appropriate for us to do.
They're not getting anything out of this guy today. Gold at $5,300, $5,300. Gold doesn't give two shits.
We do monetary policy.
Neither does silver.
Things, but we don't comment on
going
the
to the
dollar.
moon.
Sorry.
And Bitcoin rolling over.
Hi, Chair Powell. Neil Irwin with Axios. Obviously, no SEP in this meeting, but in light of the slight firming up of the language around growth in the labor market in the statement, should we assume that the timeline for any further rate cuts is pushed back compared to what people might have thought in December?
Well, first of all, if you look at the incoming data since the last meeting, clear improvement in the outlook for growth. The data have come in, and sentiment, the beige book, everything comes in suggesting that this year starts off on a solid footing for growth. Inflation performed about as expected, and as I mentioned, some of the labor market data came in suggesting we're evidence of stabilization. So
rotation.
It's overall a stronger forecast.
Orange tyrant,
really, if that's your question. I'm not sure I answered your question.
But in terms of timing or pacing of any additional easing?
So we haven't made, what we'd say about this was that after this meeting, after the 3 recent rate cuts, we're well positioned.
This
to
looks like
address
it's ready to
the
drop
risks
off a
that we
cliff.
face
No
on both
longs,
sides of our dual
everybody.
mandate, and we'll
This
continue
is ready
to make our
to
decisions
fly
meeting by
down.
meeting,
Look at this.
based on
Boom.
the incoming data, the implications for, and the
Boom.
implications for, and the outlook and the balance of risks. Haven't made any decisions about future meetings.
Run away.
But the economy is growing at a solid pace. The unemployment rate has been broadly stable, and inflation remains somewhat elevated. So we'll be looking to our goal variables and letting the data light the way for us.
Data light the way. I didn't know data had light.
Steve Leisman, CNBC, and sticking with questions you might answer, thank you. You had previously, I believe, described
No longs here,
current
guys.
policy rate being at the higher end of neutral.
This does not look
If
good.
you look at the longer run, the SEP in the longer
Only
run rate,
161
16
likes,
of
huh?
19 officials are actually below
guess I
there
should
on
go.
their long run. Is the Fed still in a process of bringing it down towards a middle range of neutral, and what would it take to get there?
So the count I did was that 4 of the 19 were at or above that. Maybe I missed by 1, but I thought it was 4. And if you look at the dealer survey, it was 10 out of 58 where we're at or above. So you're right. It's the higher end of the range. What we say is it's within
Solana
the range
ready
of
to
plausible
fall off the
estimates.
cliff,
This
too.
is the higher
Look at
end of
this.
that range, but so for some people they think it's neutral. I think, and many of my colleagues think, it's hard to look at the incoming data and say that policy is significantly restrictive at this time. It may be sort of loosely neutral, or it may be somewhat restrictive. It's in the eye of the beholder, and of course no one knows.
In the eye of the
precision.
beholder. I've never heard that technical term before.
So is that,
She must be ugly.
Follow up.
I get what you're saying. But,
Anybody who says that thinks their wife is ugly.
Some officials have described the Fed
It's in the
being
eye
in
of the beholder.
mode of bringing it down
Okay.
eventually over
My wife's
time.
hot
Are
as
you
fuck.
still in that mode, or is this a
That's
place
what I
to hang
say.
out?
Yeah, no.
Alexander G, is that
I
not
would
what you should
if
say
you look at the
about your
S&P
wife?
from December,
It's in the eye of the beholder. No, you
most
say your
people
wife
had
is
additional normalization.
damn fine.
But at the same time, we've done
Correct?
a lot of the process of normalizing. A good piece of it is done with 75 basis points, and before that, 100. It's 175 basis points we've cut since we began cutting in September of 2024. So you've moved now to, 3 point. The Fed funds is running just a little below 3.65%.
Exactly. Hot as hell, right?
So you've moved a good way, and we think we're
It's in
well
the eye of the
positioned
beholder.
here to watch how the economy performs, look at the data. We're not making decisions about future meetings, but we do think we're well positioned after those 3 cuts to let the data speak to us.
Unless she's not.
you, Chair Powell. Mara Mokwe from Bloomberg
My
News.
wife has a good
To what
personality.
extent did the committee discuss the possibility of cutting at this meeting or in March? And how are you all thinking about the conditions that would merit another rate cut? Is there broad agreement on the committee about what it would take?
Reverse.
So there was
going on,
broad
Miss
support on the
Anthropic?
committee for holding today. Broad, I would say, including among non-voters. So that's where that was. Of course, some people did want to cut and dissented, but committee pretty broadly for holding today. We're not trying to articulate a test for when to next cut or whether to cut at
Bitcoin
the next
bouncing,
meeting.
Solana bouncing.
What we're saying is we're well positioned as we make decisions meeting by meeting, looking at the incoming data, evolving outlook and all that. And, we're in a position where
Bitcoin hitting a bounce level.
we still have some tension between employment and inflation, but it's less than it was. I think that the upside risks to inflation and the downside risks to inflation have probably both diminished a bit. So, we'll be looking at that. It's about how you weigh the risks to the two goals and how big those, and quantify them. And so there are different views on the committee, and, we'll find our way forward as the data evolve.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Edward Lawrence from Fox Business. Has the effects of tariffs already moved through the economy on prices?
A lot of it has. So basically, there are many
Bitcoin
different
bouncing
estimates,
off of our
and
bounce
they're
level,
all
guys.
highly uncertain, but most of the overrun in goods prices is from tariffs. And that's actually good news, because if it weren't from tariffs, it might mean it's from demand, and that's a harder problem to solve. We do think tariffs are likely to move through and be a one-time price increase. So most of the overshoot, if you were to take that out, inflation, core PCE inflation is running just a bit above 2%, x the effects of tariffs on goods. And the other good news is,
retest to previous lows, continuation down.
You do see ongoing disinflation in all the categories of services. So that's a healthy development. So that's what's going on. The expectation is that we will see the effects of tariffs flowing through goods prices, peaking, and then starting to come down, assuming there are no new major tariff increases that are begun. And that's what we expect to see over the
Nice
course
sweep
of this
and
year.
push.
If we see that, if we see that, that would be something that tells us that we can loosen policy. Also, if we see something that suggests that the labor market is not stabilizing, that in fact the downside risks reemerge or the data just get worse, we'd have to look at both of those. We have a two-sided mandate.
If I could, if President Trump does pick a new Fed chairman before May, what does that look like? How would you work with that person, and what does that transition period look like?
I don't have anything for you on that. That will depend on Congress's actions and things I can't speculate on.
Howard Schneider with Reuters. Thank you for taking our
Nice
questions.
pushback
Given
here.
the changes
Bullish
in the statement
divergence
and all
into
you've
our
said
buy
so far,
level.
Is it fair to describe risks?
Anybody long? Put a one in the chat if you're long.
Mandate as roughly balanced right now.
I'm in no trade.
And is the next move necessarily down?
I'd say that the upside risks to inflation and the downside risks to employment have diminished, but they still exist. So there's still some tension between the mandates. Are they fully in balance? Hard to say. And we think our policy's in a good place. I've just discussed reasons why we might change our policy, and we'll just have to see how the data lead us.
I'm wondering.
Beautiful pushback,
ago,
guys.
You said you felt expectations
Beautiful
were
sweep
consistent with your mandate.
into our buy level
The 2
and
10-year
gone, man.
break-evens have moved quite notably in the last couple of weeks, I believe. Is there any concern on that front?
I mean,
Flying. Beautiful.
I recently looked at all
Markets
of the
like
both
this.
survey and market-based short-term inflation expectations have come way down. They were in a good place at the beginning of last year. They spiked around Liberation Day.
Way
and now
down.
They fully retraced in
This
the
is
last few
bullish.
months.
He's-
So that's
he's
very
pretty
comforting.
dovish.
And the longer-term inflation expectations have remained in places that are very consistent with 2% inflation over time. So expectations have been solid, and they reflect confidence in the return to 2% inflation.
Andrew.
Apologies if this is a little bit repetitive, but in the past you've said that the reason you cut rates was that the risk to the labor market was greater than the risk to the inflation side. Is that still true?
You know, we haven't made, you're right, we saw the labor market weakening and we acted. And I think that was the appropriate thing to do. We have, you know, we will always act to address what we see as the economy moving away from our goals. Risks to both of the variables are a little less. I think the upside risk to inflation, again, a little bit less, and the downside risk to employment, a little less. I just would say that. I'm not making a judgment about how, you know.
Nice push for Solana.
At risk than the other.
Bitcoin
just that the risks
cooling off a little bit here.
Have diminished.
Okay, thanks. BIS wrote a paper last summer which concluded that global investors were hedging their dollar exposures in ways that previously they hadn't because of policy uncertainty. Do you agree with BIS?
I don't like his questions.
We really don't see much at all about that whole story. There's just not a lot of data that suggests that there's much to that.
Thanks.
Anna Swanson with the New York Times. Can you talk more about what you would need to see in the labor market to conclude it's time to resume easing? Do you need to see further deterioration in the labor market, or would it be enough for inflation to soften?
So we'll always be looking at both things. And so there could be combinations, infinite numbers of combinations that would cause us to want to move. Certainly a weakening labor market would be an argument for loosening. But what's happening with inflation? If inflation were at the same time getting worse, you know, you just have a very difficult situation there.
No trade
so
here.
We'll
Still waiting.
Clearly, a
Solana
weakening labor market calls for cutting. A stronger labor market says that the rates are in a good place. We'll have to be making similar judgments too on inflation, though.
And if inflation does pick back up and the labor market doesn't show further signs of deterioration, is there a chance that you could raise rates rather than simply remaining on hold? What would you need to see to consider hiking?
We don't
ask him about raising rates. We ain't raising rates.
Case right now, anybody's base case that the next move will be a rate hike. But, you know, ultimately we'll do.
Don't say that word.
We think is the right
rate
thing,
hike is bad.
That's not where people's expectations are right now.
Victoria.
Hi, Victoria Guida with Politico. I wanted to ask, you've talked in the past about concerns about the U.S. fiscal trajectory, and we've seen in the Japanese bond market a lot of turmoil recently, in part due to concerns over their fiscal and long-term economic outlook. So do you worry that the U.S. could at some point find itself in a similar situation to Japan, whether for fiscal or demographic reasons?
You know, over time, you've seen that U.S. rates have remained pretty, they haven't moved a lot really for a while, but they haven't moved a lot because of what's been happening in Japan. So it's more of an over time thing.
Front running that VWAP.
Federal budget deficit is, you know, uncontroversially on an unsustainable path. The level of debt is not unsustainable.
Front running that VWAP.
Sustainable, but the path is unsustainable.
Careful
and the
there.
sooner we work on it, the better.
No trade there.
But, you know, right now we're running a very large deficit.
Thank you, everybody, for being here and supporting the channel and hanging out, smacking up the like buttons. 179 likes. If we could get 20 more.
Addressed. So that's important. I'm not in any way connecting it to some sort of near-term market event.
Make crypto honest again, Hat.
That's
what he needs.
We'll have to deal with, and that, you know, in the end game, that's where you wind up. Is
Jerome, do you have a MAGA hat?
But that's not where we are. It's not what
Japan is. Are you a closet case Trump fan?
It's certainly not where we are right now.
Does it reduce the effect of your rate cuts that longer-term rates have overall not really budged that much?
I wouldn't say that. You know, the thing is, I mean, technically, higher longer-term rates means less accommodative financial conditions. But remember, many things.
I can't put it on them,
rates.
guys.
It's not. And it's not mostly what happens on the short end. There can be effects
That's as good as it gets.
Longer-term rates from moving our policy around, but you know, it's much more, you know, assessments of the fiscal path and fiscal policies and risks and things like that move.
Won't let me manipulate it
around. You can look back at and find periods where we've been very actively moving the policy rate over the course of a year, and over the course of that year, the 10-year is exactly where it started.
Look at this push up to VWAP, guys. Great push.
Link between, you know, 10-year rates and the overnight rate.
None of this is bullish. Well, the bullish bullish
so
thing
much,
that he
Elizabeth
said is
Schulze with
inflation
ABC
is coming
News.
down,
Republican
right?
Senator
So
Tom
inflation
Tillis,
coming
who
down
sits
leads
on the
them to
Senate
cut
Banking
rates,
Committee,
which
said
is
he will
bullish.
block any Fed nominee, including the chair, until this investigation into you
Hello,
is resolved.
Elizabeth.
Do you support this move by the senator, and what conversations have you had with the senator?
There's that VWAP.
More broadly, what would happen to American households if the Federal Reserve loses its ability to operate independent from politics?
So really, the point of independence is not to protect.
Do you want me to go for a coffee,
policymakers or
guys?
anything like that. It just is that every advanced economy democracy in the world has come around to this common practice. It's just an institutional arrangement that has served the people well, and that is to have a separation between to not have direct elected official control over the setting of monetary policy.
The coffee
And the reason
indicator's
is that
so fire.
Monetary policy
Didn't
can be
work this
used,
morning. We should have shorted.
through an election cycle to affect the economy in a way that will be politically worthwhile. So this isn't. I'm not talking about the U.S.
VWAP
context.
slap?
This is every advanced economy democracy of any size. So it's a good practice. It's pretty much everywhere among countries that look at all like the United States. And I think if you lose that, it's first of all, it would be hard to restore the credibility of the institution if people lose their faith that we're making decisions, only on the basis of our assessment of what's best for everyone, for the wide public, rather than trying to benefit one group or another. If you lose that, it's going to be hard to retain it. And we haven't lost it. I don't believe we will. I certainly hope we won't. But it's very important, and the reason it's important is that it's enabled central banks generally not to be perfect, but to serve the public well.
You're confident it can maintain that independence at this point?
Yes. I mean, I'm strongly committed to that, and so are my colleagues.
Archie.
Archie Hall from The Economist. On that sort of stabilization of the labor market question, how much do you see the weakening we saw over the past 6 months, year, as a kind of data mirage around immigration and the government shutdown and so on?
Data
that's now
mirage.
resolved? Or how much have we seen a kind of real underlying firming up in the state of the labor market, do you think?
Well, part of it is, to your point, part of it just is that labor supply, growth in labor supply
Well, we got to
has
VWAP,
come
guys,
to
and
essentially a
VWAP
halt
said no.
from a fairly fast clip of growth over the last couple of years, driven by immigration, and then the halt being driven by a very sudden stop in immigration. So many outcomes were possible with that. Supply came way down.
Let's
It
go on
turns out that
greetings from
demand
Ireland.
for labor also came down a very similar amount, maybe just a little bit more, which is why the unemployment rate has gone up. So I don't know whether that's a coincidence or not, but that's
Only hot women
what's
should be
happened
allowed to ask
with that part.
questions.
But if you look at other things, like, for example, just to pick a couple, the Conference Board's measure of job availability that came out, I don't know, was it yesterday or today? But, it shows, it's a survey showing that workers feel like job availability it's a very low reading. Just one reading, but it's an indication
We've gotten
of
nowhere
softening.
today, have we?
People part-time for economic reasons.
Gotten nowhere
which
today.
Is a
Pump and
category
dump,
within
dump.
the broader U6
Started here,
category
dump, pump.
measure. Has moved up significantly.
Trying to
So
reclaim
there are
orb.
lots of, and I could go on and on. There are lots of little places
Reclaim
that suggest
orb.
that the labor market has
Continuation?
softened.
I'm not trading Asia
part
tonight,
of-
guys. It's
but
too
you're right,
much for
part of
me. I
payroll
already got a
jobs
splitting
softening
headache.
Is that both the supply and demand for labor has come down. Growth in those two have come down. So that makes it a difficult time to read the labor market. So imagine they both came down a lot to the point where there is no job growth. Is that full employment? In a sense, it is. If demand and supply are in balance, that you could say that's full employment. At the same time, do we really feel like that's a maximum employment economy? It's a challenging.
Equal lows on
it's very
Solana, trying to
challenging
push
and
out.
Quite unusual
Got to flip
situation.
the support level.
Thanks. And one more. On growth and the kind of strong growth outlook, or strengthening growth outlook you're now seeing, how much of that is the fiscal stimulus we're seeing from the beautiful bill, the tax cuts, and all of that?
So you're seeing it already. You don't have much of the fiscal. I think the outlook, you're right. It's financial conditions and it's fiscal policy for 26. But you've got strong consumption that's been happening before financial conditions have been supportive, but before the fiscal.
Look at Solana. What a janky person
effects
today.
really are shown. So
No
essentially,
direction.
the economy has once again surprised us with its strength, not for the first time. And, consumer spending, although it's uneven across income categories, but consumer spending overall numbers are good, and we're benefiting from the AI build out of data centers. That's another thing we're benefiting from. But the economy overall, the growth is on a solid footing. It looks like, and it's not just those things.
GDP's at 4.3%, man. Like, you're fucking doing great.
Surveys that
cut the
really
rates, you
negative,
friggin' geezer.
So
You're such a wanker, man. Sorry, this guy's just incompetent.
And reasonably good.
Putting Trump aside, man, you got the fuck's trueflation right now.
Thanks, Jerome
Trueflation.
Romans from NBC News. You talked about how
1.1 or something like that.
is
This guy's a
uneven.
retard.
The president calls
Cut
inflation
rates.
defeated and solved. The FOMC says it's a somewhat elevated inflation. But you talked about those customer survey or those consumer sentiment surveys and public opinion
That's
polls
my
that
2
show that
cents.
most families say the cost of living is still issue number one. What is the conversation around the table with your colleagues about how wealthier consumers seem to be driving so much of the economy, and why so many families still feel like they just can't make ends meet after 5 years of rising
Because
prices?
small
What is that
businesses
discussion
can't borrow
like?
money.
So a couple things. One, there's something
Only
to
these
it
big ass
in that
Amazons
we know
can.
that higher income households that tend to own real estate and tend to own stocks, securities, and those assets have been going up.
Do I
value
believe in
and,
order
and,
blocks?
Increases in wealth do support.
I live
spending
for
over
order
time.
blocks,
So-
man. I see order
and
blocks in my
that's
sleep,
clearly
my
a
friend.
part of the story. We also know that for some time now, for a year or more,
No
we've
trade
been
right now
hearing from,
for me, Benia.
retailers, for example, that serve lower income customers, whether it be food or the big box stores or anything. They're saying the same thing, which is our consumers.
For a minute, that's a
are
long
looking to
time, bro.
economize. They're trading down from brands, and they're buying less, and it's changing their buying habits and that kind of thing. So we're seeing that, and that is a reality of what we're seeing. They're still consuming, but they're feeling it in a different way. I would say more broadly on affordability, we have.
He
a
just said
vast
broad to a
network,
broad. He's gonna get
through
in
the Reserve
trouble.
Banks and also through the Board of Governors, where we talk to small and large businesses and households, and so we do hear a lot about affordability, and we take that very seriously, and we take it to heart, because our
take it
job
to
is
heart.
one of our jobs is price stability, and so the best thing we can do for people who are feeling that squeeze is to
Price
keep inflation
stability in
under
Canada.
control and,
Food
frankly, to
inflation's at
finish the job of getting inflation
6.1%.
back down to 2%.
So disgusting.
You mentioned the AI build-out as being a positive for the economic growth this year. I wonder, as you look at the weakest year last year for job creation of a non-recession year since like 2003, are you concerned about AI maybe supplanting more entry-level work and entry-level jobs?
Trying to get
and
above
how does
VWAP
that
here
play
for
into
Bitcoin?
what you're watching about the labor market?
So everyone, of course, is watching AI and the deployment and, trying to understand exactly what's happening. And there's a wide range of possibilities. It's hard to say. And of course, anyone who uses it is amazed at what it can accomplish, right? So every technological
Trying to
wave
push.
will eliminate some
No
jobs
push.
and create
VWAP
other
slap,
jobs.
guys.
And it's always been the case. If you look back, wave after wave after wave, there will be some disruption, but ultimately technology increases productivity, which is the basis for rising wages. And it may not all happen immediately, but over time, it's what enables incomes to rise over time, is rising productivity. So and we always ask, well, this is going to be different.
VWAP slap.
Is it going to be different? And we don't know. And we may, in any case, see in the short term jobs that are being eliminated by the capabilities of AI. We may see that.
Bullish
We just
momentum
don't know
here,
what
though.
the overall
Retest
effect is
back
gonna
in,
be.
continuation
so how to
up.
think about it in macroeconomic terms, it's very hard. We can look at the aggregate data. We can analyze, for example, there is some connection, it appears, between the low hiring rate for recent college grads and AI, but it's not the main or only driver. You hear large companies, though, many of them saying that they either won't be hiring for some time, or that they're hiring less, or that they're laying people off, and they tend to refer to AI.
VWAP slap, man. Here it comes.
So we're all watching and learning, and it could certainly have pretty significant effects on the economy, the workforce, and our society. we don't really have the tools to address the concerns that may arise, but we have a lot of people who focus on analyzing it and try to understand what the macroeconomic implications are, which is our job.
Thank you, Chair Powell. Bayi from AFP News Agency. You mentioned earlier that on inflation, the broad expectation was for a one-time price increase and then for inflation to come down. And I was wondering, is your expectation still for inflation to start cooling in the second half of 2026? And if you could elaborate how far we are from target currently. Thank you.
Trying to get above VWAP here.
Target is, as I mentioned in my opening remarks, we had 3.0% core PCE inflation over the 12 months ending in December, and that's pretty much what we had the year before. So on net, no progress.
Can it push through VWAP?
But the story
That's the
behind
question.
that is modestly positive in that most of the overshoot was in goods prices, which we think is related to tariffs, and ultimately we think those will not result in inflation as opposed to a one-time price increase. Okay, so that's where it is. In terms of, you asked, no one thinks they will, ex ante understand really clearly, precisely when this will happen. But there's an expectation that sometime in the middle quarters of the year, we'll see tariff inflation topping out. So what we do is when a tariff is put in place, we track the effect of those tariffs over a 6, 7, 8, 9-month period, and you can see for that tariff how long it takes to reach a place where it's affected the price level, and that's it. So we're getting better at that, and our estimate is that it'll be sometime in the middle of the year, but I wouldn't look for great precision in that. But we'll be able to see whether things are moving in that direction. I think we will be able to see.
Richard Escobedo.
Thanks, Chair Powell. I'm Richard Escobedo with CBS News. I want to look outside the U.S. about what's happening outside our shores and how it impacts the U.S. Canada's Prime Minister said last week that there's been a rupture in the global order, and I wonder how you're thinking about geopolitical risk as it relates to the U.S. economy.
So I can't comment on that speech or statement or anything like that. Geopolitical risk for us is, a lot of it is around energy, oil. And so far we haven't, for all the turmoil, oil prices have come down, as you know, and so we don't really see much. Longer than that, it's trade, and the trade, the economy.
It's trying so hard to get through VWAP here.
Well, you'd have to say, given the very significant changes in trade policy, the U.S. economy has pushed right through. Partly that is that the way that what was implemented was significantly less than what was announced at the beginning. In addition, other countries didn't retaliate, and in addition, a good part of it hasn't been passed through to consumers yet. It's being taken by companies that stand between the consumer and the exporter. So that's where that is.
Jennifer.
He coughed.
Thank you, Chair Powell. Jennifer
That's a
Schonberger
warning
with
sign.
Yahoo Finance. With third quarter GDP growing at 4.4% and the fourth quarter expected to have a 5 handle on it,
This VWAP
as
thing
to
is
what
so
the Atlanta
disgusting.
Fed is predicting.
Hello, Jennifer.
At a time when you had a government shutdown and we thought that was going to shave off some growth, you've also got the fiscal tailwinds you've talked about, big tax refunds coming, potential tariff dividend. How could you cut rates and not spur inflation in that environment?
Well, we didn't cut rates today, but it depends on how fast potential output is growing, right? I'm just asking in principle. I'm not saying this is what's happening, but there's growth and there's how fast the potential is growing, and at a time of high productivity growth, potential output is rising. So it really matters whether
This price action's
potential output
so
is growing
bad.
as fast as actual output, and it would matter over time.
Thank you for being
the
here,
numbers
everyone.
You cite were for quarters, and quarterly GDP is you need to look at 12 months because quarterly GDP can be very lumpy. GDP was negative
Very
in the first
lumpy.
quarter last year, so the overall over the year the numbers were nothing like that. It was more in the mid-2s for the year.
And how do you explain the divide right now between strong economic growth and the job market? Is it productivity that's filling the gap? And is productivity being driven by AI at this point?
So there has been, you're right, there has been a divide of solid growth, but what looked like a weakening labor market. And that can be explained by rising productivity. But I would say we do see
12-minute trigger wave I was talking about for a
of the
potential push
unemployment rate
after he's spoken for a while.
So it may be we're seeing the beginning of the resolution of those
For all
two
you
things.
swingers out there?
Also, as you probably know, the lore is that when GDP and the labor market get into an argument,
Got 2 minutes
in
left
the
on the
end,
scandal.
Labor
It's
market
gotta get
is
through
the labor
VWAP,
market
man.
data is more reliable. GDP data is very hard to collect and understand, but nonetheless, I think we may be seeing that tension resolving a little bit. Too soon to say with any confidence, though.
Matt Egan with CNN. Chair Powell, after today, you have 2 meetings left as Fed chair. You've obviously experienced a lot during your time as Fed chair, served under multiple presidents. I'm wondering what advice you have for whoever your successor might be.
Honestly, I'd say a couple of things. One is stay out of elected politics. Don't get pulled into elected politics. Don't do it.
Look at this guy. It's a total John Gotti,
Another
eh?
is our window into democratic accountability is Congress. And it's not a passive burden for us to go to Congress and talk to people. It's an affirmative, regular obligation. If you want democratic legitimacy, you earn it by your interactions with our elected overseers. And so it's something you need to work hard at, and I have worked hard at it. So, and the last thing is, it's easy to criticize government institutions so many ways. I will tell whoever
Push
it is,
Bitcoin
you're
through
about to meet
VWAP.
the
Come
most
on.
qualified group of people you not
Jesus.
only have ever worked
So
with,
painful.
you will ever work with. And when you meet Fed staff, and not everybody's perfect, but there isn't a better cadre of professionals more dedicated to the public well-being than work at the Fed.
Thanks for that answer. If I may follow up, as I'm sure you've noticed, gold and silver prices have experienced historic gains of late. And I'm wondering how much attention, if any, you pay to those moves and what message you may take from these significant price increases we've seen for precious metals.
Don't take much message macroeconomically. The argument can be made that we're losing credibility or something. It's simply not the case. If you look at where inflation expectations are, our credibility is right where it needs to be. So we look at those things.
Guys, I'm sorry, I can't make price move.
Particular asset
I can't
price
do it.
changes,
I wish I could. We'd all be rich.
Monitor them, of course.
I'd say buy, sell, buy, sell.
Last question.
Last question.
Kind Barron's. Some
Thank
prominent
God.
critics have charged that the Fed's economic models are somewhat backward-looking, but should be more forward-looking, incorporating things like productivity increases from AI. How do you incorporate current and future developments into your analysis and decision-making, and do you have an answer to those critics?
Yeah, so by and large, those criticisms, as somebody on the inside, they just don't make sense, and I'll tell you why. Every FOMC participant writes down a forecast every quarter, right? The summary of economic projections, and that's the basis for how we think about the economy.
Bitcoin rejected off VWAP.
The other thing is, what an economic model can do is it can grind up all the data for the last number of years, 50 years, let's say, and it can identify what are the relationships between variables A, B, C, D, and all that kind of thing. And it can tell you if you change one of those variables, this is what should happen in the macroeconomy. That's just the way it works. However, the structure of the macroeconomy is constantly changing. For example, we hadn't had a pandemic in 100 years. It wasn't in the model, and we knew it from the very beginning. It was not in the
Bitcoin rolling over?
A trade war of this scope. We'd never had that in 100 years. And so there's great uncertainty at different points. Another thing I'll say is, when it comes to, technological developments that raise potential output, some kind of technological revolution, like happened in the 90s here and like maybe happening now with AI, we're all over that. And, everyone studies those periods, and, we're very clear-eyed about the possibility that this higher productivity may persist, and also that it may not. We're not, no one's sitting here unaware of the possibility of higher productivity. We've been talking about it for 3 years. It long predates the current situation. It's been going on for 5 or 6 years. We've had productivity higher. We've been talking about it that whole time. So it's very much on our minds, and we are well aware that higher productivity means higher potential output, and it changes the way you think about potentially inflation, growth, labor market, and all those things. That's all in our models. I mean, if it's just a question of using better models, bring them on. Where are they? We'll take them. But
nice push.
I think, we certainly
trying to get through that VWAP, man.
With anybody who does economic modeling, and we're always looking.
You want to see it get through the VWAP, which it is right now.
And just
Through
a
the
quick
VWAP.
follow-up. We've been talking a lot
Come back,
about tariffs
retest, and go to the
passing
top
through.
of the
We've
orb.
been talking
That's
a lot
what you
about
want.
them for the past few months. The trade landscape is still in a constant state of flux. Announcements, threats, negotiations, they're all frequently changing. So I'm wondering how you actually track these, what data or channels are most critical to follow this in real time.
Trade?
Yeah, the impact of tariffs and how they're changing.
Yeah, I think our staff has done a really nice job on that, and they've kind of put it together in real time. So as I mentioned, a tariff gets put in place, you can pretty much track its effects on pricing and on everything, and so you build a model up from all of the tariffs. At the beginning, it was very much of a forecast. Now it's every cycle that goes by, it becomes more informed by actual data, and our forecasts were not far off. What changed was, as I think I said earlier, what was implemented was smaller than what was announced.
Bitcoin to the
In
moon.
addition, we didn't see
I was
retaliation
gonna say Bitcoin to the
internationally,
moon.
and I think people did generally expect that because we saw that in the past, and that really mattered too. And then the other thing is that pass-through didn't know how fast that was going to be to consumers, didn't know how much exporters would take, how much companies in the middle would take, and how much the consumer would take. And it turns out it's a lot of companies in the middle who, by the way, are pretty strongly committed to passing the rest of it through, which is one of the reasons why we need to keep our eye on inflation and not declare victory prematurely.
Thank you.
We're done?
We're done.
Okay. Thank you very much.
There you have it. Some bullish things, some bearish things. Meet Kevin does a pretty good job of breaking it down. Bitcoin chopping above orb, failing to get above VWAP. I'll have some levels and updates for you guys later on in the Discord, and I will see you guys in the morning. God bless you guys. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Undercover better sit low. The product base better drip though. Pocket fat when the chips low. AlexOCrypto. Fit the party like a disco. Fan base like my wallet, yo. Stay true to the digital. AlexOCrypto. 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 What you know about juice? Making the moves. Data flow casual, breaking the news. Revenue proof. A building portfolios taking well over exceptional pain. I'm trapping this game. Participation ain't a hard knock. I put in the work so you got knowledge. You ain't drawing with luck when you following us. The result is a pen full of fat pockets. Bada bang, that's an otter gang with an auto flame. With a lot of hate. Get above the lane. Ain't about the trade. Have another trade. Get another play. They playing God so pretentious. Grapes in these waters forbidden. Well indeed, that's a felony. Don't look at me for the TRB. Undercover better sit low. The product base better drip though. Pocket fat when the chips low. AlexOCrypto. Fit the party like a disco. fan base like my wallet, yo. Stay true to the digital. AlexOCrypto.